Are you telling me that the Fakertarians want to make? They have things on there. They're not even like humans, and they're like making comments. They try to make the most degenerate comments.
Archie, get the fuck off my stream.
What's the thing with like that what's his name? Hudak guy? Like who is, I will say, Nick, on the show you were at there, right? Amongst them, he's the smartest.
I believe Fakertarians has done more damage to the Libertarian Party than anybody Fakertarians tries to damage. Because it's a bunch of people who have no official position, they're just tweeting on their own personal timelines, and Fakertarians goes and screenshots it and publicizes this is what's wrong with the Libertarian Party.
Fakertarians has lost so much credibility that no one is willing to... It's the boy who cried wolf. Like, they might actually be right one day. Maybe there'll be one day where there's an actual Nazi that someone puts on our show. We're just going to be like, eh.
Well, the Fakertarians hop on and they're like, ooh, that's anti-Semitic, and people are like, that's anti-Semitic, and I'm like, first of all, you fucking idiots, I'm half Israeli.
And while I'm at it, you know what? Fuck that page, those Fakertarians. Fuck that page too. And fuck all those guys. They're on my shit list too. Fuck them, giving me fucking shit for going on fucking Stefan Molyneux's show. Hey, they're fucking the Fakertarians one, who actually pissed me off more because from what I've been told, there's like a couple decent people attached to that. Fuck them. Fuck those guys. They're gonna fucking give me shit for fucking going on Stefan Molyneux's podcast to advocate against war because you didn't like that I called him great.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 45 of the Fakertarians podcast. I'm your host, John Hudak, along with Jeremy Kantorowicz, Archie Flower, Dr. Woke Kraka, Josh Helditch, and our tech guy. So we have an interesting episode for you today. We're trying something a little bit new, and we're going to be doing it through Discord since we have a limit on the amount of people we can have in our StreamYard. Dave Smith did something on Clubhouse the other night where he invited critics of his to come ask him questions and talk with him. So we're doing the exact same thing today. If you look in the chat wherever you're watching, the Discord link is probably being spammed there right now. It will be if you don't see it. So we're just gonna hang out for a little bit and wait for some people to pop in.
So we're gonna start on Dave Smith actually. Oh, hang on, I just heard a We got someone already. Fucking hell, line up, son. Let's go.
I love that we were influenced. The only time ever we were influenced by Dave Smith.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that, so, John, I joined that group the other day, the Libertarian Party group, and Dave Smith says to me, he goes, oh, you probably got a roommate. What?
I saw that.
Yeah, the cat. Yeah, I own my own housemate. I travel the fucking world. You and me are not comparable. I'm probably 10 times richer than you. But please, continue. You failed comedian. Let's go.
And Hilditch, that's exactly what I thought too. I thought what a weird flex for him to go that way when just a moment ago he had said to John in one of his replies about how dare you attack my podcast. It's how I support my family. And I'm sitting there the whole time going, make better life choices then, Dave. You've got a family and you think you can like supply for them with your little niche podcast?
Exactly.
No, dude.
I think he makes. I don't know. I think he makes some good money. I'm not sure. But...
No.
He's definitely making.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I think Dave Smith has utilized this really, really good tool that we've got in the Western world. It's called a condom. Yeah. You should use a condom next time he's having sex because we don't want more of him.
I think you're thinking of Josh Smith, actually.
Okay, let's move into some of the people we have here today. Anyone, feel free to turn your video on. I mean, we have video. You don't have to, but
they all are now. Look at them go.
Okay, here we go. Okay, who do we got here? Someone's.
Is that guy smoking crack? What the fuck is going on there? Hey, dude, you're not supposed to show us that.
Bud.
YouTube.
It's Bud.
Oh well.
What kind of crack?
Don't worry. It's not.
Oh wait,
that's Derek. I think we have some lag issues.
Yeah,
we actually don't. Facebook. We don't have any lag. It should just be maybe a second delay at most.
Can everyone hear me?
Okay,
Yeah, I
now
can
I think
hear.
it's catching up here.
I have a message to Mr. Kaufman, Ms. Borsenko, and Mrs. Kakus who supported his recent ad campaign, especially with the line "War is gay." Now, the thing I find interesting is I've met more anti-war gay folk than I have anti-war straight folk. So, in my personal opinion, war is actually pretty straight if you think about it.
That is actually a very good point.
Yeah, I watched that video today.
Yeah, I watched that video
Kaufman
today
one.
not too long ago. That was just terrible. It was just awful. It's
just edgy. I mean, yeah, it's just edgy.
Edgy dumb for the sake of edgy. I mean, yeah, it was just such a it was bad.
Huh. Sounds like typical.
I'm choosing to not watch that video.
You know how like I said, Archie, before, you know how much Part of the Problem and Break the Cycle I've had to watch, so I'm like immune to that at this point.
Have you had to watch it, or did you voluntarily decide to?
It's natural immunity, but I'm basically triple vaccinated against bullshit at this point.
Did someone like sit you down and prop up your eyelids open with toothpicks and set your podcast in front of you?
It was the 12
something?
shots.
Oh, okay.
12 shots in, suddenly you're watching Part of the Problem.
Okay, so for anyone just watching now, we're trying to get some critics of ours in here, or anyone who wants to.
Do we want to put the Discord link?
Anyone that hates us? Come
Yeah,
on.
I'll repost
in
the
that
Discord
discussion group.
Hi, I'll be a critic.
Rachel, no, you're
Who-
supposed to be
who
on
is
my
this?
team. What is this? This is an
Yeah.
absolute
Is this Rachel?
betrayal.
I'll be a
Rachel,
critic. You're all
criticize us.
communists. Because
Okay.
communism is when you believe in individual rights.
I think your definition is off there, Rachel.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to push back there a little bit, Rachel. Well,
Guys, I articulated better than anyone that's going to come on tonight.
Yeah, that is true. Very true.
I also have a response to Rachel. I'll let you guys go first.
It's communism when you support I'm sorry. If you support not having a giant government apparatus to control the borders, that's communism. Sorry, guys, you're basically communists.
Sounds about
That
me.
is
It's also
definitely
communism
communism.
to support trans, support gays. That's full on communism.
Well, I mean,
Well, if you support individual right to choose your name and gender identity, that's just collectivism.
I saw on Twitter like 2 weeks ago. One of my critics went, "Oh, do you know that Josh guy on Fakertarians? Oh, yeah, he's from Britain." And I was looking at it, and I kept reading, and he goes, "Oh yeah, them Britain, those British communists." I'm sorry. Do you know that Britain communists? Are you aware of what kind of country we are?
Well, communism is when you don't have
you not
as
hear
easy access
about
to guns too.
Mao
That's also communism.
Right.
Well,
Rachel,
Josh, you are on an island.
Accusation.
Yeah.
It'd be based if they were like. They'd be more based if they're like Emma Goldman.
Sorry, who? What, the British people? Be more based. Why are
No,
you
you
referencing
no,
Emma Goldman?
Rachel said
God
initially.
is a Rothbardian communist.
I can't understand. Both of you are talking over. It's like a fucking horse race at the moment, like going around the corner. Yeah, here he comes on the left hand side. Just calm the fuck down. One of you at a time, just talk, yeah? So, I'm going to start with, I think it's Jake. Jake, what did you say?
No, that wasn't Jake.
Was it not Jake?
I don't think there's a Jake in here.
I just see a thing in the middle spinning, so I have no idea who I'm talking to.
Yeah,
Did we lose the Discord?
No, we didn't lose the Discord. For some reason, Rachel's video is just not working, or it's
Rachel,
not
Rachel,
showing.
can you hear me? Rachel?
I turned my Wi-Fi off. My video might start working soon.
Okay.
What kind of Wi-Fi do you have? Bloody hell! You know what? We were actually going to focus on critiques of us this evening, but I think we need some IT support for you. And by the way, if you're listening to the Fakertarians podcast, we do IT support. It is £100 an hour.
Fair. Yes, that is fair.
Yeah.
Bitcoin only.
It's actually
Crypto.
it's not Rachel's fault. It's a Discord issue for some reason. It's just not showing her video. I
That's
don't know.
you.
It's not me. Shut up.
No, I thought it was you talking. I was like, who the fuck is that with the whole
Okay,
spinning thing in the middle of my screen?
We have a critic in our
New
YouTube comments.
critique. You have a British guy, and he
Utilize the
victim
teapot
blames people for having bad
more often
Wi-Fi.
and at random. That's the first critique that we've got. Look, teapot,
teapot.
lads.
More teapot.
I love a cup of tea.
Brett. Hey, Brett, are you Josh Hilditch?
Sorry?
Are you Josh Hilditch?
Yes, I'm Josh Hilditch. What about it?
Okay, sorry, I'm not familiar with you guys' voices. I was gonna say...
You're not
you
familiar
feel
with my
bad
voice.
that,
Are you serious?
I haven't heard his
like
voice
5
before.
other
I'm
Americans
sorry.
on this channel. How is my voice not familiar?
My ADHD makes it hard to deal with fucking streams.
Okay, go on. What's your question, mate? What's your question?
Do you feel sorry that we dumped all the tea in the harbor in 1776?
No, I don't feel sorry. I think you guys are a bunch of bastards for doing so because I would have drunk that shit. Yeah.
I mean, the Baywood
that
tea
answer
is
your
more
question?
delicious once you did that.
Tea's fucking amazing.
Yes.
What's wrong with you, you colonial fuck?
Hillage, do you like crumpets too?
I see. Oh, okay, can we just stop here for one moment? Because I can see now that we were bringing critics on the show, but I think what's going to happen here is ask Josh Hilditch what kind of British things does he like. But do I like crumpets? Absolutely, with a bit of butter. Beautiful. Anything else you want to ask there, Johnny boy? What about fish?
What
fish and chips? Fish and chips, maybe?
What? Oh no, I know fish and chips, but what is a crumpet?
It's a bready thing. I don't know how to explain it. You put it in the toaster, it pops up. You put some butter on there, you eat it in the morning.
So it's like a waffle or some shit.
It's toaster strudel. It's just toaster strudel. That's all it is.
Do you know, the first time I went to America, I was like, "Where the fuck is your crumpets?" And they were like, "What the hell's a crumpet?" And I was like, "Right, I'm out of this country. Fuck this place."
So I'm feeling like our critics.
It looks like an English muffin, kind of.
Okay. So I'm feeling like our critics do not know how to use Discord.
I have
do
a criticism.
You know what, John? I go. Who's this person now? Criticism.
Still me.
It's Derek.
Derek, go on.
Yep.
What's the criticism, mate?
Well, you guys are obviously authoritarians who do not respect private property because you are not willing to let the government mandate that no one should be fired for not getting the vaccine and wearing a mask. Obviously, you hate free business.
Is that Derek or Ron DeSantis talking?
Free
There's one thing I
markets
hate,
is
it's
when
free
you
enterprise.
don't
I'm
allow
gonna shut all free
businesses to
enterprise
fire
down and
people at will. And you're more free market the less people you let them fire.
Yes. Also, if I get a Ron DeSantis altar in my fucking head, I'm blaming you guys.
I just want to ask, like, Ron DeSantis, like, who still calls their child Ron these days? Like, did you?
Hey, wait a minute. My dad's name was Ron.
Oh, okay. I've really stepped into bad territory here. All
You
right.
support Ron
Let me just try and walk this back really fucking quickly.
Character that turf lady wrote.
We're just critiquing ourselves now. At this point,
Yeah.
we're turning this inward.
But by the way, John, everyone can critique me. Here's the thing. So I'm gonna scoop him in. Let's go. Like, give me some of your best critiques against me, John. Give me one. Let's go.
You never have your camera on.
Right, hang on. Yeah, fuck
there
you.
We go.
How do you like that?
I mean, that was better.
Hang on. I've got a
There's
beer
that
here,
beautiful. There's that beautiful face.
You know,
that we
I'm
love.
pretty ready to crack open a beer too. I thought we were gonna have like this long discussion. Like I thought I was gonna have to get all philosophical and shit with some of our critics. But
Here's the reason why I got to crack open a beer, right? So if I'm gonna listen to Dave Smith and his bullshit, I need to be drunk for it. It's as simple as that. It's impossible to listen.
I was actually, when I was on Dave Smith's show, I was actually kind of buzzed. I will say.
Right. So let's go down the list. So who's next? Jeremy, give me a critique of me.
You have yet to come to Minnesota.
That's not a critique. What's wrong?
Yes, it is.
I haven't been to Minnesota either. Actually, no, I did stop at the airport once when I was like 14.
Archie, critique of me?
Oh, we got a new person.
You have your video on too much.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
New person.
Fuck you too, mate. Yeah.
Who's the new person?
Alcohol-free whiskey is the username.
Alcohol-free whiskey. Well, don't drink it.
No, that's wrong. Alcohol-free whiskey is wrong and evil.
It's just
Alcohol-free
water.
whiskey is just.
You realize what the point of
messy.
alcohol is, right? Get pissed.
It's
What do
a
you think I've
sin-
got beer here for?
Alcohol-free whiskey is as sinful as not throwing rocks at gay people.
It's true.
Wait, what? Sorry? You got to repeat that again for me. I didn't hear that correctly.
Guys, I'm just expressing support for libertarian hero Gary North. Who you guys
All right.
trash.
Okay.
All right. So as we're waiting,
I didn't
for this,
realize we were going to have Gary North on this podcast.
as we're waiting for this,
We cannot have Gary North on this podcast because Gary North is dead.
So alcohol-free whiskey. Can you hear me okay?
Can't, like,
F
we
in the
can't play
chats.
seance?
Brian, critique of me. Go.
You have yet to give me a hand job, even though I've begged for years.
Brian, that was supposed to be just me. Oh my god.
Okay.
I want both of you at the same. Both
What
of you at the same
fuck,
time.
Brian, I thought I was the only person that
First of all,
you give hand jobs to.
Hang on.
No, you, Rachel. Like, I want all of you at the same time.
First of all, I am fucking Jeremy, not you, Brian. You got to keep that on the ropes, okay?
Okay. Let's try to stay
Fair
on track
enough.
here for a second.
Everyone back to John.
Everyone back to me for a second. I'm taking over. So we have a person we have a new person in our chat. I don't know if they're a critic or someone friendly to us. Alcohol-free whiskey. I'm trying to see if they talk.
Okay, John, you have to make sure that this person has not got confused with an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting. Okay, so that, I sat there and I was having a drink before I went to the bank. Yeah, wrong place, mate. You've got a different stream, okay?
My name's John, and I'm a podcast host.
And I'm a recovering
I've been
libertarian.
podcasting for 5 years.
It
I
seems like
lost
they
my
don't.
wife. I lost my house. I make bad choices by being a podcaster.
Look at this.
My name's Dave Smith.
I met Dave Smith, and then my mortgage was gone.
John, it sounds like they don't have their audio devices on.
Okay.
It's probably because he's too drunk to hit a button. That's why he's called himself fucking Whiskey Man, doesn't he? He's like, where's the W button?
Maybe it was free alcohol. Oh, what's going on now?
That's 7.
Wait, that's just Archie. Unless it's someone else.
That was me and Archie. Sorry, yeah, Archie joined in. I'm not
I was all
hearing-
excited. I thought someone new joined. It's like, oh, it's
Sorry
Archie.
about that. Yeah,
Not that I'm not excited to have Archie here, but he's already here.
Well, that just went really existential.
I think Archie is now listening through Discord.
Schrodinger's Archie.
No, I think I'm just on.
What?
Wait, what was that?
I swear
I
I
heard
just
someone.
heard the new person speak.
Yeah,
Yeah, speak, new person, speak.
Are you a teapot?
I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Look, you teapot looking bitch. If you're gonna come
thought
on
you
here,
were a
talk.
crumpet.
Yeah, this
So,
fucker is like.
Do we
mustering
have a new
confidence.
person talking or no? I really can't tell.
I have no idea. I can't see anything.
I thought I heard a voice I didn't recognize, but
Me too.
could be right.
I think maybe they're one of those old heavy breather types. They're just kind of sitting there, like listening to us talk while they're like breathing and moaning and just like stroking it off. We found a new niche, John. We
Do I
can be
need
rich.
to turn my camera on so he can jerk off better?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, do it, Rachel.
We
I hope
definitely.
that
I mean, go on, Rachel. Show me your face.
Does it?
I mean,
Hang
hell,
on,
I
hang
might
on.
too.
Ooh.
Guys, it's being stupid. I blame
Yeah.
Discord.
I blame Discord as well. I can try.
No, I blame the liberals because that's how you libertarianism, right?
Did we?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I got an idea. Should we just try to spam the StreamYard link because people apparently don't know how to use Discord?
I
Yeah,
mean,
go on.
Really dumb.
if we want to do that, yes, we can.
Like we can just anyone who's in Discord, we can just bring them in through StreamYard, and then like we can kick people when we need to. I think what's the limit? 10?
10 is
Yeah.
the limit, and we're currently sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4,
6.
5, 6.
Yeah. So it's not like we're getting overrun right now. So yeah. I guess I'll
Technically
just-
7.
should I just start posting the StreamYard link?
Yeah, let's do the StreamYard link. Rachel and everyone, you guys can join through the StreamYard link. I'll post
So
it.
anyone watching right now,
Okay.
We're gonna spam the StreamYard link in the. I'll put it in the group too, because obviously we're not being overrun by.
I'll be back.
People. Here, I'll
we're making some last minute changes right here because as life does sometimes, it throws curveballs at you. So instead of this Discord, which has failed us immensely, we're just going to go ahead and spam the StreamYard link over the old grump.
I'm commenting live now on my post in the Libertarian Party discussion group.
All right, I'm grabbing it, throwing it up on the streams. Oh, nope.
Already ahead of you, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna be back in like 2 minutes.
All right, we'll be right here. We'll hold things down for you, John. Hey, welcome to everyone to the Fakertarians podcast on this March 26, 2022. My name is Dr. Woke Kraka, right along with the great and wonderful Jeremy, also Archie, and we have our tech guy. Of course, John Hudak right now is having a diarrhea attack, so we're going to give him just a moment before he comes back.
Okay,
oh,
John.
And we have Josh Hilditch back now too. Good.
I'm back. So, John, who? Oh, I thought
John's
that was
taking. John's
no,
taking
I
a dump.
thought that was that. What's the guy?
Okay.
Guy's name with the pineapple head. What's his name? Tom Woods. That's it.
Oh yeah, pineapple head. Tom Woods.
Yeah,
little smirk.
He does have a pineapple head. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought Tom Woods just joined the channel. I was like, mate, you're fucked now, right? I'm gonna fucking drill into you like you've. The last time you got drilled into so hard, your father was fucking your mother. I was going to say, Jeremy, we've got to start a poll in the Fakertarians group. Who's funnier, Josh Hilditch or Dave Smith?
Okay, what do we got? Anything fun while I've gone?
Nothing yet. We haven't had anyone
comment come in.
I said that you were having a diarrhea attack.
No, I was actually taking a piss.
Oh,
I'm really tired today, and I've been downing a bunch of Diet Coke. So
he had diarrhea coming out of his cock. Like, just give the guy a break. Yeah,
happens.
That's the name of my new punk band, Diarrhea Cock.
Oh, I guess I can turn on my camera now.
Yeah, so
I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos lately, and I realized just how much everything's getting demonetized just by saying some of the most basic words. So I guess we just can't worry about it. Like, we're never going to make any money off of this. My George Soros checks have never come in. I keep thinking that the grand leader of Jews is going to send me a check one of these days. That never happens.
I don't know about that. I reckon that we will make money off this. I reckon we will. And when we do make money off this,
look,
we're
Black Lives
only
Matter
what?
hasn't even paid me yet. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
We're 781 subscribers away from being monetized on YouTube.
I really want to do a Fakertarians.
Don't forget to follow our Twitch page, because that really helps out as well. If anyone has Twitch, follow us on Twitch.
Should I just make a new post in the Libertarian Party discussion group right now, because no one's paying attention?
Yeah, go on.
If you want to.
Yeah, okay.
We
got some time. It's still early.
We can talk about other things at the same time during this whole thing. So what I found really interesting is Dave Smith, this failed comedian, because for me, I'm not a stand-up comedian, although people might think I am a stand-up comedian because I make some good jokes. But I look at him and I go, you got to be smart on your feet, yeah? You got to be quick. I'm looking at some of the things that he says to John Hudak, and I think this guy's a fucking muppet. Like, he's either on crack or he's doing too much whiskey. But Jesus Christ, he can't even string a word together.
He's not a bad speaker. I'll give him that.
No, he is. Come on, John.
Don't
back him up on that.
He's decent. That's his thing. He's a solid public speaker.
Yeah, he'd be decent as a fucking car mechanic for sure. Yeah. Hey, Rachel.
All right, how many of you are vaccinated?
I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm vaccinated. I gotta find my magnets from when I went on Josh's show, so I can stick.
All of you.
Oh yes, definitely.
Communism is when you make the voluntary choice to get vaccinated.
Well, yeah. Don't you read LouRockwell.com?
Well, I knew I was a communist when I was a child when I took my first dose of amoxicillin.
What is it like? When I was vaccinated for polio, Oh, I could just feel the
episode
Red
with-
Army marching into my veins, going,
Tommy.
This almost a half hour in. This is not what I expected.
None of our critics are
Because no one
joining,
cares
John.
about us, John.
Looks like we're
I
just gonna have
care.
a podcast with us 8.
We're singing. And...
I just have to think of more critiques.
I mean,
They're just saying everything's communism.
honestly, it's basically like the Dave Smith Clubhouse. I mean, there were like a few critics that joined, but it was mostly just people being like, "Hey, man, you're doing a great job." So, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Dave, I just love you, man. Like, if you ever gonna be president, you think maybe I could just maybe suck your dick a little bit, just like maybe just a tip. Like that's all I want. I don't want to like choke on it or anything, Dave.
Yeah, he just wants to lick the top.
I just want to lick it a little bit. Just give it a little lick. Yeah. Like I'm eating whipped cream off of a ice cream sundae.
I do want to say, in all seriousness, thank you guys so much for your work. And this is coming from a libertarian socialist who appreciates you guys.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's always good to hear.
Hey, you're more than welcome. Like, I don't know why you're appreciating me because I'm a fucking disaster.
Like my friend, guys. I just wanted to let you know you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Oh, I don't know about that, but
Yeah. Hilditch especially.
Sorry.
Hilditch is the best Fakertarian.
Yes.
100% the accent.
yeah.
He's a good addition.
And then Brian is my bestie that I constantly drunk video chat. So
Hey,
Definitely
Josh.
good
I
Josh.
don't know. The rest of
Go
y'all
on,
make a
go
cool
on,
podcast,
go on.
I guess.
I've got a criticism. Go on. Tell me.
Can I pay you to read me Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia while I go to bed?
He does sound a lot like C.S. Lewis.
We do have a question, John.
They all
Okay.
sound
Yeah.
alike.
So, let me read it for anyone who's not looking at the screen. So here's a question. Is this Mises Caucus attempted takeover thing just another chapter in the saga of right-wingers trying to pull the philosophy into their direction?
Yes.
So,
Well,
I was gonna do a thing where I was gonna say like I have an answer to that, and then I was just gonna pause for like 10 seconds, and then I was just gonna go yes. Hilditch ruined it.
Sorry. Too slow, mate.
Well, here, let me answer that with a little more serious of a take. Yes, is the short answer. That's what it is. The thing is, however, I think this is the greatest threat that we've seen in all of these right-wing takeovers of libertarianism. I mean, you go back to the paleo strategy, as awful and horrible as it was, did it really affect anyone except for libertarians? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it didn't really affect the mainstream that much. Were we even really well known at that time? You know what I'm saying? We go back to the early 80s and it was all very fringe. Well, fast forward to today, libertarianism has actually made a lot of great strides in getting discussion in mainstream media. You talk to a lot more regular people on the street and they'll say, well, I identify more libertarian. And I personally, anecdotally, I hear that more than I did, say, 15 years ago. And that's the rub with the Mises Talkover.
I'm using that from now on.
Oh my god, that's a great
Nope,
clip.
that's it. We're done.
Oh
Call
my
it.
god.
And that's
The
our
Mises
show tonight.
Talkover.
Thanks, everybody. But no, with the
hell.
Mises Caucus takeover, I think it lands a very real threat directly targeted on moving the entire party permanently to the right, more so than any other sort of niche strategy has happened in the past.
The Gump.
We got a friend.
Welcome, Fred.
The Gump.
Hello, Forrest Gump. Were you in the Marines?
Hey, Gump the Pump.
You gotta press the unmute button there, Mr. Forrest.
You gotta
Gump.
unmute yourself. Yep.
Mr. Gump, how much is your shrimp?
This may be your only chance to.
The only thing I'm going to say about just back to that, Brian, is I said this in the last podcast. Like, do these people actually expect to sway the opinion of the country? Because if they're going to sway the opinion of the country, surely they've got to win, right? They've got to win elections.
Sure.
Now, enabled to win elections, well, you might have to poll more than 3%, right? Which they currently don't do in America. Now, I get it that it's a two-party system, and there's, it's a fractured system, and it's very difficult to get in. But the arguments. Let's have a look, for example, the other day, where me and John Hudak we're talking to Dave Smith, and he was like, "Oh, fucking gender this, gender that." You seriously think that's going to win you elections? You think that's going to put you forward as the viable choice in an election? Well, Mr. Dave, look, perhaps you just need to log off for a couple of days, go to your bed, sleep, wake up, have a cup of tea, and get into the real fucking world. It's ridiculous. And I think that's my biggest problem with the Libertarian Party is they just don't talk about the real issues of the day anymore.
Well, but isn't that part of what their strategy is, to move it more populist right?
Yeah, exactly. But they're trying to trail the sort of Donald Trump path. But the problem is that the Donald Trump path has already been explored. So Donald Trump has already walked that path. The Republicans have already done that. They're going to win that. So you need to provide a different alternative.
Time out for a second. Did you guys? So the Gump, I don't know if they were friendly or like a foe to us. They might be friendly. But they commented in our private StreamYard chat saying, "Just came in to say that I hope you all can give consent after getting 12 shots deep."
So apparently the dude wants to fuck us. That's cool.
So
I don't know if
I'll tell you what,
they might
Mr.
have been
Gump,
making fun of Dave there. Like I honestly don't know.
I think so.
This is
Whatever,
number
12
two.
shots, Joe.
This is number 2, Mr. Gump. I'll let you know when I've had 12.
I'd actually
All
like
right,
to take a
guys,
shot
I
at
gotta go.
answering Rick's question.
Okay, Rachel.
Okay,
bye,
Rachel.
Peace
Good
out.
seeing you.
I had a final point. It was in relation to about how they never talk about the issues of the day. I think the most egregious example is the I remember I'm the main admin on Liberation Caucus page, so I was posting during the Greg Abbott threatening to take everyone's kids away thing, and they're all half of the comments are like, "This is why I and then whatever their chosen figure of ignoring actual libertarian issues today is, because they don't talk about this useless stuff that no one cares about. And I'm like, what? This is actual government tyranny affecting thousands of people. This is the perfect to talk about to convince people of liberty.
Yeah,
but no.
Rachel, I just have a critique for you for 1 second. You need to invest in some fucking headphones, my friend.
She needs the what's his name that set up that guy had in the back of his car that one interview we did.
Valium. Well, she at least needs to get into a Denny's.
Bye, Rachel.
Yeah,
Bye, Rachel.
next time, Rachel,
I love
go
you,
to the
Rachel.
Denny's
I love you.
foyer.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so-
I want to draw attention to Brian Ellison's question in the comment section here. If one of you guys pull that up, it says, "Do you think Dave Smith's strategy amounts to any more than increasing his own personal following?"
No. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you get everyone. It's open to discussion. I mean, I do think that there are issues he legitimately believes in. I do think Dave is actually anti-war. I don't think that's a front, but I do think a lot of this is
Was that
a personal
pun
following
intentional?
thing. What was that?
War front. Was that pun
That
intentional?
was not intentional at all. But I do think the personal following thing is true, not just at least in part, not just for Dave, but I think that's a big thing with Heiss. I mean, it's basically become a cult of personality in the Mises Caucus. It's okay, let me bring in my favorite libertarians and let me boss everyone around. It seems like it's kind of okay, I'm gonna get famous kind of thing, rather than
you have
something
to
that's
ask
actually
yourself,
going to do something.
why did he bring up the gender argument the other day in that group? Why did he bring that up? Well, we just had that big story about the swimmer person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person's question was quite accurate. Is he doing things to improve his own personal? Of course he is. He's being a populist. Because why? Because when a big story comes up, like we had it the other day, where the person that was swimming, I didn't really look too much into this story. All of a sudden, now he's posting all these things about gender identity. Now, so what he's trying to do there is be a populist. He's trying to catch on the issue of the day, and he's trying to increase his own popularity by making all these questions. What I find about Dave Smith is he is so disingenuous. He doesn't state his position. He just asks this ambiguous question. He says, "Oh, what do you think about gender identity in this sort of circumstance?" But what he's really trying to say, if you cut it down between the lines, is he disagrees with it. And I just, I have a lot more respect for him if he went, "Do you know what? I don't agree with that." And I go, "Okay, fair enough. I don't agree with you, but he's a liar."
It's a lot harder to nail him down on a point if he's not saying the point out loud.
No,
Like,
he's too busy talking about my fucking house.
I noticed the same thing over the years kind of happened with him with the immigration position. I feel like he was kind of always dancing around the issue. It was like, well, actually, there's like multiple sides to this. And then like he'd push back on people who would say open borders, but he wouldn't say like, okay, I think it should be easier for you to come in, and like you should be able to come in if you're like if you pass like a background check or something like that. Like he doesn't usually give specifics like that. It's like this weird general theoretical thing where he says like, oh, but private property, 12 or not 12 shots, private property doing drugs in a school, but he'll never really give you specifics on that. Like
It's
I
always
can specifically,
but exactly, because it's always ambiguous, because it's designed to play to a particular kind of audience, right? So he's trying, as the person just quite rightly said in the chat, like, is he trying to play to his particular kind of audience? Of course he is, because if he says the wrong thing out of tune, he loses subscribers, he loses popularity. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to present himself where he doesn't take it too far to the left, too far to the right. He's here in the middle. He's so ambiguous that you can't pin him down, which is exactly what you said, John Hudak, when you were debating him. Put him onto a position. Say what you actually mean. And then if you look at the discussions that you guys had, he could never actually really state where he stood.
Yeah, like,
that's what it's all about. It's
and
about
that discussion I had with him yesterday about Stefan Molyneux. I know it was on that gender post, that poll he made that got deleted, and somehow Molyneux came up because someone said, I think it was Joseph Howe, he said something along the lines of, some people used to think certain groups of people were subhuman, like we don't have to recognize everyone's view as legitimate. And I made like an offhand comment like, well, it seems like Stefan Molyneux does think some people are subhuman, and he just Dave immediately comes in calling me a liar.
Yeah, I saw
like,
that.
Blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, so here's where Molyneux said that he doesn't think humans are all the same species, and here's some other Molyneux quotes, and here's a debunking of Molyneux's idea that he wasn't talking about ethnicity when he made that species quote. Like I posted a whole thing about it. There was a whole write up on it that someone made.
I saw that, and
he was still just telling me I was lying and being disingenuous. Like he didn't actually engage at all with what I said, the sources I posted, and I noticed someone came in after,
lying out of context. Everything.
Yeah, someone came in after and said something like, "You can't just like make those accusations without proof," and I was like, I just posted proof.
Yes,
it's weird.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This guy is a populist, right? He's playing to a particular kind of audience. So, it's like we had 4 years of this with Donald Trump, where all the evidence could be submitted and you would just outright deny it, and then you play to the audience. That's exactly what Dave Smith is trying to do, which is exactly why he would say to a British person who comes from a reasonably good family why they don't own their own home.
Yeah, he made some comment to me like about in that same conversation, like this isn't just some like dorm room game trying the same conversation where he said something about somebody having a roommate or something like that. I'm like, who cares if someone has a roommate? I don't have a roommate. I don't live in a dorm.
John, what he said was, instead of answering any of your claims about Stefan Molyneux, he said to you, "You're going to ruin my life. This isn't a dorm room game. This is how I support my family. This is very serious business for me." It came off so incredibly whiny. And like I said earlier, all I could think of was, then make better life choices, dude.
And
if you've got a family,
I want to
Yeah.
note though that I'm not like I'm not even trying to
No.
like destroy this guy's life or something. Like
No.
I'm not even like I'm not like do your comedy stuff. Like it's fine. I'm not like calling comedy clubs and being like, look at what you're putting on or something. I'm
It's
literally
not
just
comedy.
being
No,
like,
I've put you up there. It's not comedy at all. Are you
Yeah,
serious? It's comedy.
but I'm
Yeah,
literally
but
just being
you
like, I don't
can't-
want this guy as a thought leader in the libertarian movement. Like unless he's
Look, I will
gonna change
repeat
some
what I
things.
said before. This guy is as funny as the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's almost as if it's someone picked up
Okay,
a book.
wait. I think I said this in the Fakertarians chat earlier today. I was kind of in shock earlier today. It was something I never thought would happen. Dave Smith made me laugh. So there was that post in the
We can't be friends anymore, John.
There was a post in Libertarian Party discussion, that group we were talking about that all these posts were in, and it was something like, we need a non-Mises moderator to join. Like I don't know if you guys saw that one. Talking about how like they have a lot of Mises moderators and they want something to kind of counterbalance that. And just out of nowhere, Dave commented, "Fine, I'll do it." And I legitimately was like, "Ha."
That is funny.
Well, actually, the funny thing was last night when I was getting like preparing for this this podcast here, I was looking into Dave's. I found it on YouTube, like sort of clip, about 20 minutes. I watched about 5, and then I fell asleep. So that goes to show how good Dave's comedy is. Dave, I was listening to you for 5 minutes, and you put me to bed. By the way, Insomniacs, listen to Dave Smith. Listen to
You'll
Dave
sleep right
Smith.
away. You won't keep yourself awake with laughter. That's for sure.
you'll be
Hey,
fucking falling
one
asleep.
thing I wanted to say too, going back to that conversation from yesterday with Dave, it was some of just the typical things. It was all of the dodging, all of the putting it back over on "don't make fun of me," just the typical line, and that's my biggest problem. And I want to go back to Ellison's question there and answer in a more broader way. Yeah, I think that it goes, even if not intentionally, it goes outside of Dave Smith drumming up followers for himself. Let's see. Do you think Dave Smith's strategy amounts to any more than increasing his own personal following? I'm not sure if his does. I think there are aspects of it that he really does want other people to believe. Like John said, he's not disingenuous with his anti-war stances. There are a lot of aspects of Dave's beliefs that, of course, I agree with as a libertarian. But the thing is, what again is happening is they are moving everything farther right. So whether he's doing it just for personal gain or not doesn't really matter in the long run, because in the end, it's going to move everything to the far right. And regardless of his own personal plans, the party is just going to be absorbed, I think, as some sort of a hybrid of republicanism and libertarianism. And I think that's what America's headed for right now. So even if they're not aware of it, the Dave Smiths of the world are definitely playing a huge role in that.
My prediction, actually, for what's going to happen is Mises is going to take over. McCardle is going to win in 2022. They'll have most of the states. A bunch of the states will be like the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire and just tweeting out a bunch of really dumb stuff. They'll get some really bad press coverage, and they'll think it's great because for some reason they think all press coverage is great. And I think there's a good chance Dave wins the nomination in 2024. I don't think it's going to go particularly well.
Hell.
No,
Really?
I do. I do think there's a good chance. I don't think it's set.
I think there's a good chance that he will.
They could even crash and burn before that. But I do think whether it happens in late 2022, whether it happens in 2023 or 2024 or 2025, I do think this whole thing is just going to burn down. And I don't think it's going to work well. I don't think these people they're driving out the people who actually kind of like know how to do the day-to-day party stuff.
My thing is, like, if they did actually take over, like right after, they're gonna have no fucking clue as to what to do. It's gonna be like the dog who, not to coin the Heath Ledger Joker, but it's like the dog who catches the
copyright.
fucking,
We're gonna get kicked off the air, mate.
The dog who catches like the mail bus. Like once they get to the bus, they have no idea what they were planning on doing after that.
Yeah, but this is the thing that I keep going back to this, and I asked, I think it was who was the last that we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Who did we have on?
The nice lass, the one that the
Jen Moore.
Jen Moore. I was talking about you winning elections, And you need to win elections as much as we hate it. I hate this state as much as you do, John, or Jeremy, or anyone else. But you need to win elections to sway public opinion. You have to. That's the countries that we live in. You must win elections. Now, you're not going to win elections if you put someone like Dave Smith for, because they just simply they don't have an idea about how to change people's lives, how to make
Well,
it
they
better.
turn off like half the people they're listening to, like that listen.
Exactly, but that's the point. That's the point. You cannot change public opinion with someone like Dave Smith. Why? Because he's a shit comedian. I mean, have you heard this guy tell a joke before?
I haven't heard much. I've heard a very little bit.
Yeah, I listened to it for about 5 minutes. It sounded like a car crash. You know, if a police officer came up and said, "Yeah, well, he's a disintegrator," that's Dave Smith right there to a T. You know, but you're not going to win. You're not going to sway public policy with these kind of people. So we should discard them immediately. Well, I know that's my opinion anyway. When I say discard, put viable people forward that actually can speak to the population and try and get them on board with their ideas.
As much of a train wreck as Joe Jorgensen was, she's infinitely better than Dave Smith.
Oh God!
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, she is.
Like, and she was a fucking train wreck.
I'd make Joe Jorgensen like the supreme leader of the party for life before I'd have Dave as the nominee.
Felt same.
I want to touch on Rick Horner's comment, the one that ends with "What will each of you do in response?" Can one of you pull that up?
Yep, got it.
So he said, so let's say worst case scenario happens and LP gets pulled into the far right wing. What will each of you do in response? Well, I can tell you, first of all, I would not be supporting the party at all. I haven't re-upped my dues with National. I'm still registered Libertarian. I'm still a member of the Libertarian Party of Florida. But if I feel like it gets bad enough, I will change my voter registration, and I would change the status in the Libertarian Party of Florida as well. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I will continue to do exactly what I'm doing in terms of Fakertarians. Like, I'll be watching this stuff. I'll be chronicling it and fighting back against it. I'll just be doing it from outside the party, assuming it gets bad enough. I'll be doing it from outside the party until I think there's a good point to get back in. Like, if it's even salvageable.
I think the question as well was from all of us. So
yeah,
Archie, what would you do?
So here's the thing. I'm going to go back to Rick's previous question just a little bit. And so I'm going to read that. Here's a question. Is this Mises Caucus attempted takeover thing just another chapter in the saga of right-wingers trying to pull the philosophy into their direction? Everyone else said yes to that. I'm going to say no, because you used the word philosophy. The LP is just a vehicle. The philosophy, the ideas and the ideals are timeless. And the principles that we fight for will exist tomorrow just as they will today. You know, we all have the same inalienable and equal rights. None of them come from any government, from any document. They are natural and inherent because we're human beings. We're autonomous. We're self-owners. And the idea of equal rights for every human being does not live and die with the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party is just a vehicle. And right now it's a flaming dumpster fire of a vehicle, but we will go on somehow. That's the whole idea, is that they can take over, but they can't change the ideas. They can't change what truth actually is. They can't change what rights actually are. And so if they take over the brand, we just make something new. That's the whole idea. I mean, like, politics is how's it go? Politics is war by other means. And the first casualty of war is the truth. I mean, look at what we see today. Propaganda is so pitched up that I mean, the Democratic Party has its own infighting. The Republican Party has its infighting right now. So, of course, it's natural that the LP is going to have the same exact types of events going on inside it, because every institution throughout our whole society is coming apart at the seams because society right now is going through all kinds of crap. So if the LP falls, I will continue espousing the ideas that I once learned. Yes, we do live in a society. We are social animals.
So Archie, I think we need to move on to Jeremy there. What would you do?
Oh, sure. Just shut me up there, Josh.
No, you.
Sorry, Archie.
Yeah, well,
I yield my time to the gentleman from Vermont.
I call
No. I'm okay with.
I love you, Archie. I'm going to give you a big old kiss on your forehead. Yeah, you can spit your drink out in front of the camera. Anyway, Jeremy, go on. Tell us.
So what I would do? Well, we don't have any party registration in Minnesota. We're open primaries. So I don't have anything there. And I haven't actually been involved in the party in Minnesota ever because of past things they have done. But I didn't renew my national as of yet. And so I'll probably just keep going with the page. The LP left me. I didn't leave it. So, yeah.
I mean,
I will continue to pet the cat.
Does that mean it's my turn?
That sounded like it was some kind of metaphor for a second.
I want to go next, Hilditch. You can go last. I'm just kidding.
Go on. No, you go, Mr. Fucking Ferret.
I will.
The cat is currently nuzzling my microphone, and it's adorable.
For me, like with the LPMC takeover, if they actually succeed, I'm just going from firefighter to arsonist. That's it. Burn this fucking place down. Like, please, let's end the misery. I'm going from firefighter to arsonist. I am. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Fuck it. This party does not represent me. It doesn't represent. If I can't tell family members as a way of pragmatism to vote for the Libertarian Party, then fucking burn it down. I don't care anymore.
I mean, I don't even think you'll need to. I think not fighting fire will be enough. They'll. They
will
can pull that off
burn
themselves
itself
very
down.
well.
But I'm saying, what if I just add a little bit of gas? What if we just a little bit of gas, just a little. Oh, Brandon's here.
Yeah, hopefully I can work. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I was having issues yesterday. I figured out it was my settings, and I had to allow permissions for it to use my microphone. Get kind of paranoid about sites being able to access my microphone. A lot of people know. Yeah, never mind. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. I was expecting a lot more some Mises people popping in. We used to get those, but I guess not anymore.
Sneaky way to share it into groups. You know what I mean? And because a lot of groups are populated by them. A lot of stuff on Facebook. You got to find a way to get somebody else to sneak it in there. That's what I did with my meme page. I shared it. I used other people to share it into Trump groups. And now, and now if you notice, if you look at my comments, every once in a while, there's these really shitty people that come on. It's because I have some shitty people on my page and they help my algorithm.
No, yeah, maybe I figure next time I do want to get some critics on, but maybe I'll try to actually book someone in advance rather than just leaving it open to whoever's here is here.
I mean, look, I can hijack this and then post in a few groups people who are critics of me, and they would come in, but it would all be all about me. So I don't want to do that.
We can do a Hilditch episode.
Yeah, but today's not a Hilditch episode.
No, I meant another time.
Critics of us, yeah. I'm absolutely hated. By the way, you know this, for example. I'm hated by the tankies. Absolutely deplored by the tankies.
I know.
Oh, but we were so nice to Billy Bob.
Is there a lot of tankies over in the UK?
Nah, mate. Yeah,
yeah. It's a lot of Labour Party, Social Democrats. It seems they not many.
No. I mean, you do get your sort of odd people here and there, but most people have brain cells. When you have brain cells, you're not a tanky. So, you go down to your local pub. For example, I live in a place called Maidstone, which is in Kent, which is southeast England.
I know where
the
Kent
majority, even though the majority of people who are, I guess you would say, left wing or extremely left wing, they are in the north of England. Most of them don't like tankies either, because you know why? Because tankies don't have good ideas. They don't have good ideas.
What are you saying, that like exterminating a great part of the population is not a good idea? What?
Those are just extreme wartime measures.
Yeah. Well, if you ever watch the podcast with Billy Bob, he'd be like, well, the Chechens.
Yeah, we had, for anyone who doesn't know, we had a guy named Billy Bob the Tanky on a few episodes ago, and that was a trip.
Trip. Well, yeah, it was free LSD, that one. Brandon, I think I've had you on my friends list for about 5 years, and I've never spoken to you. So how are you doing, son?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, like I kind of am somewhat introverted sometimes, especially since there's a lot going on in my regular life, but alone like this crap online.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, that's nice. So
hang on. Are you doing a tour for your house? Are you trying to sell me the house? How much do you want for the house?
I'll do 100K.
100K? Are you fucking serious?
I think I saw a house down the street before, and that was its market value. It's only a 2-bedroom house.
For 100K? You're shitting me.
I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you.
The house that I bought cost £295,000. Fucking yeah. 100K. I'm in.
Yeah, look.
Oh, here we go. He's doing the real estate agent thing.
All right.
It's kind of like
it's a nice location. We have the community college right down here. We have a church right here.
Hang on a sec. Did you say a church?
Yeah, it's a Universalist church too.
Yeah, no deal, mate. No deal. I don't want that fucking shit near me. Not that I don't like religious people. I just can't be bothered listening to Sunday mass on a Sunday morning when I'm hanging out of my tits after just been to the pub.
Do you know what the funniest thing is? I've never actually, I've lived around this area. My daughter lives right up the street, and I've never really heard mass there or like seen a mass amount of people there. But I know they do have mass.
Maybe it's a drug front.
I'll be back in a
It's
sec,
a very big building, and it's a Universalist church. I mean, how many Universalists do you know? You know what I mean?
Not many.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it's a very nice building. I thought similar things, trust me.
Wonder what's going on there.
Especially since there's been a few small businesses up here in the past that, they were like that. They were not a church, though, but like small businesses. Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much...
What were you going to say?
I pretty much live around a bunch of, I live in a very liberal city. Like, people down here, they're very, there's some, like, leftists in the area. Like, there's some Antifa who, let me tell you, I have a love-hate relationship with, but most of the people down here are, like, absolute Democrats. Like, there's no way the LP could have any presence here whatsoever. I think I'm the only delegate in the, I live in Harrisburg, by the way. It's the capital city of Pennsylvania, and I think I'm the only delegate in the area.
So not a lot of Dave Smith voters.
I mean, well, there are some that are across the, like, there's a river nearby, and there's like another community over there, and there's some Mises over there. They were actually the ones that brought me into the party, but I don't know if everybody here knows that I was a part of them. I left a little bit after Hudak did.
Yeah, I was going to say I was there too. Oh,
yeah,
we got a person.
A little bit after you did. Well, actually, I got kicked out. Yeah, wasn't I left? I got kicked out, and then several people were upset that I got kicked out. Actually, like
I think I remember that.
Knew that I was criticizing them. Like they wanted me there because they thought I was like a quote unquote voice of reason, and Then I got kicked out again. I can't remember why. I think
Sounds
it was.
about
What
right.
do we have here?
Oh no, I remember why. It's because I said something on one of your Fakertarians posts. I said something that I wanted to disassociate from the caucus or something like that, and then Heist saw that and was like, "Well, I'm definitely kicking him out now."
Hello.
So we have a. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Yeah,
Welcome aboard.
I just saw this sort of. I don't know how I saw it. But I have a question for Archie.
Shoot.
Yeah, so I've been hearing some rumors through the LP grapevine that the new chair of the Libertarian Party of Vermont is having trouble getting access to party resources, and I was just wondering if you had any information about this.
I won't comment on anything of that matter.
Is there a reason why you're not willing to comment on this matter?
Because that's a Vermont Libertarian Party matter.
Oh,
This
well,
this is not a show about
your critics.
This
I mean,
is a show about if you want to talk to me about my philosophy and criticize me on that, sure, but I'm not going to comment on something like that.
Yeah, Matt, you realize what a critique is, right? That's a question, not a critique.
Well, sure, but I think that if somebody were to say that somebody was acting improperly in an official fashion, that would be a personal criticism. Do you agree?
Yeah, do you have proof?
I don't have any proof. I was asking.
So you don't have proof?
I don't have proof that somebody that I don't really know doesn't have access to a bank account.
No offense, Matt, but if you ain't got any fucking proof for it, fuck off.
So Matt, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think the Mises Caucus national leadership likes me or doesn't like me?
My guess is that they're not the biggest fans.
Okay. So being not my biggest fans, do you think that you're going to get good information from them directly?
That's why I'm asking a question to see if there was anything going on.
Now let me turn this back on you. Assume you were a party official and someone outside that party was asking you something about internal matters to that party. Do you think it would be appropriate to just answer that?
Why would it be inappropriate?
Because there are actually legal repercussions to your question.
Oh, there are?
Sure. You're talking about party assets. You're asking me to make a public comment about party assets.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not going to answer.
Okay.
If the people that, okay, so you said, how did you phrase it? New chair or ostensible new chair or whatever you said?
Sure.
If they want to get in touch with me, I'm perfectly open to having conversations with them.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
So they haven't reached out.
They have not.
They have not reached out in order to get the access that they require.
That's all I'm saying, yeah.
Is that your critique, Matt, by the way?
No, I've just been hearing some rumors about something going on in Vermont, and I wanted to see if there was anything to them. But if they haven't even reached out,
you went into a diatribe. I asked you a very distinct question. Was that your critique?
Is my
It's an easy question
Is
to
that
answer.
your dude? This is very simple
if the ostensible new leadership of Vermont is having trouble and it's Archie's fault, that would be a criticism, yeah. But if it's not, then that would be a criticism addressed.
Your answer to Josh's question was no.
Okay, one at a time.
It was not your critique. Sorry, I will shut up now.
Matt, that's not your. You got to supply proof. Number one. Yeah, you agree with that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Proof. You got proof?
I do not. I don't think it's possible for me to have proof either way in this case.
So you're coming onto the podcast and just making unprovable claims.
I mean, I heard a rumor and I wanted to know if there was anything to them. And if the answer is no, then that's the answer.
It's not just the answer, is it?
What do you mean?
You weren't coming here looking for answers. Come on, let's cut the crap.
Yeah.
I actually was. I want to know, make sure that everything in Vermont is going smoothly.
Put your cam. Look, hey, put your camera on. I'll put my camera on too. Look, here we go. Look,
I'm too ugly to put my camera on, so I'm not going to do that.
Put your camera on. Put your fucking camera on. Go on. I'm gonna see your fucking face. Go on.
You want to see my? You want to see my
Yeah,
face?
I wanna
Just
see your
imagine the
fucking
ugliest
lion
face.
Go
It'll probably be close enough.
Put it on.
You're Michael
Put it
Heiss?
on now.
Yeah, sure. Just do that times 2.
Oh God. Okay, maybe we shouldn't. I don't want to get banned from YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got somebody. So okay. Are we? Anything else, Matt?
Anything else, Matt? You'd like to ask? Now's the time.
No, that was it. I was just wanting to make sure that there wasn't any funny business going on.
All right. Do you think there's
I
any
want to
funny
keep this
business
guy
going
here
on?
for 1 sec because he's kind of there's something in between the lines there, buddy. You're not telling us. What are you not telling us?
I'm not telling you a lot of things because I can't tell you everything that's going on everywhere. So
no shit.
So
You're not telling us a lot of things. What the fuck did I just say, Matt? Are you serious? You having a laugh?
No, I just had I heard a rumor. I wanted to see if there's anything to it, and if the answer is no, then that's that.
Are you a member of the LP, Matt?
Yes.
Are you a member of the Mises Caucus?
I don't know if there's any official thing.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
If you consider yourself a member, you're a member, at least from my time there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's changed since then.
It always seems like obviously a day on thing.
I got a question because we'll just stop beating around the bush with this.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, why are you a member of the Mises Caucus? Why are you a member of the Mises Caucus?
Well, because I'm a huge fan of the Mises Institute.
Okay, first of all, you danced around the thing that you weren't a member of the Mises Caucus, and now just caught you out. So,
okay.
Do you want to stop fucking lying, or?
I mean, did I ever lie?
Yeah, you lied several times, but we won't get into that. But anyway, go on.
Let's just go on to the next question. I swear to God.
I don't know. I still kind of want to talk to this guy. What do you like about the Mises Institute?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Austrian economics, and their free resources give me lots of information to learn about the world around me.
Do you like Gary North at all?
Not particularly.
That's good to hear. What about Mr. Rockwell?
His personal stuff is a bit iffy, but you know.
What do you mean personal stuff?
Serious?
I'm sorry. I have a cat that's begging me for attention right now.
I love kitties.
Yeah, I have.
I'm not gonna read 2 of Rockwell's books. I thought they were somewhat interesting, but he always had this conservative lean that I didn't really like, similar to a lot of other Mises Institute people.
The only thing I'm really mad about is just like we can't cut the shit for like 3 seconds. Come on.
He's petting his cat.
What do you mean, cut what shit? You're...
Oh, come on. You know it.
I guess he must not be.
If I know it, then what is it?
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know.
Is this like who's on first?
You don't know because the whole fucking.
I don't know because you're talking about stuff that I don't even know what you're referring to.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
What the fuck are you doing on this podcast?
Well, it's an open thing, and I heard a rumor about stuff that was going on in Vermont.
It's not even called an open thing, you muppet. It's called an open conversation. Have you any?
Yeah, why am I in a conversation because I saw it?
I'm sorry. What the fuck are you even talking about there, Matt? What the fuck are you even talking about?
It's hilarious.
Hilarious way.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did hear similar rumors on Libertarian Party discussion groups about exactly what he's talking about. So I am somewhat curious myself, but I can also understand if he doesn't want to talk about it on this.
I'm gonna have a quick.
Yeah, but
toilet
hey,
break.
Brendan, if I asked you, what are your motives behind asking that question? Would you like try to weasel out of it at all?
I didn't really think he was weaseling out of that. I thought he just had a genuine curiosity. I'm not going to lie. I have a genuine curiosity about it.
I mean, at least the guy knows that it's a good idea to waffle about membership in the Mises Caucus. So, he's got some class there, I guess.
That is true.
Hello.
Hey.
I think he was talking to his cat. I'm fairly certain.
Yes, I was.
But he was just
Okay.
saying hi.
Yeah.
Jealous. I wish I had a cab.
Just ask him questions. You know.
You know the cats
That's all.
that the cats
I
you find on the side of the road, they're free. You can just take them in your house. Nobody
I
will
know.
ask.
I know.
Matt.
There's a
Matt.
neighbor cat that I
Matt.
see him, it's Chewy, and I feed him and take care of him. But my roommates don't.
Aw, it's very nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me about my philosophy as a libertarian?
I'm
Or-
not really familiar with your philosophy as a libertarian, so
Or-
the answer to that question is no.
Or any claims I've made pertaining to the Mises Caucus or its national leadership?
If you could call it that.
Not. I just heard rumor. I want to see if there's anything to it. You said that there wasn't. That they haven't even reached out. So that's good enough for me. So I'm going to head out.
All right. Well, thanks
Well,
for
I hope
coming
you
on.
have a good evening.
Give your
Right.
kitty pets for me.
Right
Will
before
do.
the
Thank
angry
you.
break
Bye.
comes back, I see.
Sorry
He's
about
gone.
that. I just hate it when I'm being fucking lied to.
Me too. Me too.
The bad faith thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is-
it's like
This
a
is just
fucking.
this is just and overall it's just this isn't the venue to discuss that. So it's a personal matter. I'm sure.
I mean, it's a legal matter beyond just a personal
It's a-
matter, at least. from
Right.
my side.
And Archie answered it perfectly. Like, I can't talk about that. And it's like, well, why can't you? And it's like, what part of I can't fucking talk about that do you not understand?
It's a pretty boilerplate answer that you get when there's different
So we have-
circumstances
we
and
have a-
things involved, but.
We have a
But,
person.
but you also have it. They have not reached out to Archie, and that's the end of it. So on to the next.
We have a person called Max Wellington.
Max Wellington. I'm just here to watch and
All right.
make snide comments when a Mises guy
Give
comes
us
in.
your position,
What's
where
that?
are you? Because
Say again?
I'm the master of making snide comments. So
I don't have the awesome British angry voice that you do, so I'm not entirely better at it, but I do. I enjoy making snide comments about folks
give
in
me a
that
best
caucus.
snide
See,
comment.
that's
then,
something
mate.
I'm just not. I'm not good at.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
w-
good on my feet and snide.
Gosh.
comments. I hate that.
I mean, I was going to say obviously that cat isn't Jewish,
Archie, calm the fuck
but
down.
Josh, you're asking for his best snide comment, but you're not even worth his half snide comment.
and you're not even listening either. So obviously, I'm kidding. I'm
No,
kidding. I'm not
whoa,
actually
hang on.
mad.
Whoa, hang on a sec. I am fucking listening.
I know. I was kidding. I was again a
he's
snide
kidding.
comment.
Calm down, or I'll get even more British against you.
No, what I had said.
More
what I was
British.
gonna-
What?
War of 1812.
Yeah.
The war that no one won?
That's the time the Canadians beat us.
That's true. The Canadians did beat us.
That's
They
fair.
burnt
This is
DC. They won.
turning into history lessons, you colonial bastards.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We tried to invade Canada. We tried doing it during the beginning of the American Revolution as well. And both times we got our asses handed to us by French Canadians.
Yeah, so you lost.
I mean,
We didn't lose, Hilditch. We just failed to win.
Uh-huh. Like
There is a
Vietnam.
distinction there.
Wankers.
Uh,
Anyway,
I
so
mean,
I'm
Held-
listening to Max. I'm listening to Max. Give me
No,
give me a bit more.
No, I already said it, but I'll say it again because I'm kind like that. Why not? I was going to say to the last guy when he was talking about his cat, I was going to say something along the lines of, obviously he's not a Jewish cat. So
I'm sorry I got so mad at that and just like fucking started using his tactics against him, but it was so much bullshit.
Oh,
So
I mean, I
much
do. Yeah, I do think there was a weird thing going on there. I get
Well,
asking the question, but I don't think it was like a genuine inquiry. I think it was. I think
Oh
it was
yeah,
a
it
Mises
was a
person.
hit job. It was a fucking hit job. And the fact is, like, when Josh and I asked him, "Is this your view?" He sat there and squirreled about it. It's like all you have to say is, "Yes, I am asking this question."
Yeah, right.
But when we were like asking, like, "Is this your opinion?" Well, it just annoyed the shit out of me. It's like it's either your opinion or it's not. It's not a hard question. If someone goes and tells me to ask somebody, "Hey, ask them their age. I don't go up there and be like, are you asking my age? And just sit there and be like, well, it's kind of like in proximity in at the bar and so annoying.
No, I get you. I'm used to dealing with it.
So
You put
am I,
yourself out
John.
there to deal with
Well,
that.
we got Aaron Goes here as well. Aaron Goes, can you take your mic off mute for a moment?
Yeah, I always wanted to know, how do you pronounce your last name, Aaron?
Hey guys, I'm mostly AFK at the moment. I'm
No worries.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna be able. But it's Goss, by the way.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
have a relative who had her cousin has that name, and that's how it's pronounced. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I'll be off AFK in probably like half an hour, probably. But I'm with the family at the moment.
All right.
Gotcha.
Anyway, John. So
I was gonna say actually Jeremy, because Jeremy just sent something to me. So apparently there's some guy who's like what is he, Jeremy? Like a hedge fund manager or something like that?
So yeah, William O. Perkins.
He goes by Bill Perkins on Twitter.
Born February
And-
2nd, 1969. Nice. That's all
Nice.
I had. I just wanted to get a nice in there for 69 because I'm mature, very mature.
We're all 12 here, 12 shots.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how mature are you? 69. It's American hedge fund manager, film producer, and high stakes poker player from Houston.
So yeah, he tweeted 9 hours ago saying, seems as if the LP Mises caucus is up to some genius shenanigans to destroy the Libertarian Party. I look forward to deploying resources to battle them. I love a good battle. Hashtag LFG, and then he tweeted.
Are these guys like Russian generals or something? What the fuck?
No, this is like an anti-Mises guy. And then
Alright.
Dave quote tweeted him an hour ago saying, go ahead, waste your money. We don't care about your resources. We have an army of true libertarians. We have the Liberty Movement. We are the Ron Paul army. Fuck a battle war. And then this guy responded with, challenge fucking accepted. Good luck. So I think that's where they're at now.
No, this is
Hell
what I
yeah.
found funny. So I found it extremely funny that Dave Smith said about you, John. He said, "Oh, you declared war on him. War on
Oh,
him."
because of the Cantwell picture?
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, John. Can I ask you a couple of questions if you're
Yeah,
okay
let's do
with
it.
that? Yeah, sure. Question number one: do you have Tomahawk missiles?
I do not.
Do you have a navy?
I do not.
Do you have an air force?
I do not.
How the fuck are you declaring war on this cunt?
I made a thing in Microsoft Paint.
Oh damn!
I just love this idea that like Dave Smith sitting there in the bunker and I don't know, fucking.
Well, he
cards.
had that whole. He likes to use those analogies. Actually, he had that whole thing when he got mad that Josh Smith when Josh was a little better. He came on our podcast, maybe like early 2020. It was actually just me and Brian, and he actually conceded some points. He was saying like, yeah, Dave's kind of. He was defending Dave a lot, but he's like, yeah, Dave's kind of like too friendly with these people. And he was like, fuck Gary North and fuck Nick Fuentes. And I think he said like some bad stuff about Hoppe too. And then Dave it's Hoppe.
Hop. No, it's Hop. No,
Okay.
in
He's a
German
frog.
it's Hop. It's Hop.
Really? I always hear it as Hoppe.
Ich sprechen sehr gut Deutsch.
I'll take your word for it.
Es Name ist Hop.
I will take your word for it. But
You should, because that's been German.
so then this was like right before the 2020 LP convention, or at least like a couple months before or something like that. And Dave got pissed that that Josh even said like one bad thing about him on our podcast, even though Josh was defending him most of the time. And Dave made this like private 40-minute video in his private group that it leaked out. And he's like, you don't go around like criticizing generals and stuff like that. Like he was using that same analogy.
Hop is the general.
I think he was calling Hop the.
And then he like literally did a salute.
I'm gonna keep calling him Hoppe because like that's what I'm used to.
Hoppe, the man living in Turkey who hasn't been in the country in how long is their general? Oh, jeez. He ran off there with his wife.
This is crazy. They're
that's
doing,
no
they're
hero.
doing so,
Fuck,
well,
man.
do you know what, John? I was watching the same thing like 2 weeks ago with Caleb Maupin, a good friend of ours.
Oh God,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
friend of ours.
And they were marching down like the sort of like a hotel, sort of experience, and they had the American flag and they had the Soviet flag, and they were just marching down, pretending to be like this sort of like force that they're not. It's crazy. Like, these people really experience that. Sorry, really think that they would get into government with these kind of ideas, or just portraying yourself. I mean, look,
That's
we
not
all
their
know,
aim.
we all know, and Maxwell Wellington,
Max is fine.
Wellington, yeah. So you're looking at, for example, John Hudak's going to be the next president. I'm going to be his vice.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
You don't think that's happening?
Max, we're not going to win the
I
nomination because
contacted
Mises is
Hillary
taking over.
Clinton, by the way, and she's going to make it happen.
Vouching for Hillary.
Hey, give me a break. I would never do such a thing. You're a good friend of mine. That's actually, you hurt my feelings.
Speaking of vouching for Hillary, that meme I made the other night about Dave, because he's saying that we shouldn't run anyone against DeSantis and stuff like that. And the what's the South Dakota governor's name? Christine Nome or something like that.
He literally said that we shouldn't run anybody against DeSantis.
Yeah, it was DeSantis, Nome, and then like one. I think it was Greg. Oh, Greg Abbott was the other one.
Nome, DeSantis. Oh no, Reynolds. Or
No,
was
but
it
then
Reynolds?
I thought it was Reynolds too, but then when he was on Clubhouse talking about it, he did mention Greg Abbott by name as a person that we shouldn't run a candidate against because they were good during COVID. That was his rationale for it.
Because that's about all I can say about DeSantis. Is like I like how he was against the lockdowns, but everything else, he's terrible.
Oh yeah, he's awful.
He's not. Oh my god. He's probably I would good money. He's probably going to be either in the running for, or he's going to probably get the next GOP nom for president.
Yeah, if Trump doesn't go for it, I think DeSantis is probably the front runner.
I don't know if Trump is going to go for it again. I don't know. He might.
I don't know, it's a pretty big ego.
It's
But
that's the
gonna
thing. Is he? Because I don't know if he's winnable. I don't know if
but
he's
does he
electable.
care? Does he care though? He just wants to feed his ego.
True.
That's the issue.
I mean,
but
he'd
at the
have to
same
admit that he's
time,
up for
losing
election.
is I mean, you saw what happened last time he lost. He couldn't handle it.
Well, he still thinks he won.
Yeah,
That's
has
true.
he actually admitted he lost?
I'd say that if he did win again, if he did run again, he would probably have some support. But I think there's also this Republican base that was disenfranchised by him, who would probably lean towards somebody like DeSantis. You know what I mean? Because there are Republicans who are not completely down with the whole MAGA thing. They're not. And
just the way everything ended. Trump has permanently turned off even people that would go for DeSantis, despite them rhetorically in many ways not being that different.
I could see a scenario where if Trump loses in the primaries, like DeSantis or something, he just says "fuck it" and runs independent. The dude's got an ego the size of the country.
Too much money. It would cost him too much money, I think.
He might still try though, because he
donors to do that. I don't see him doing that.
I mean, he's got that cult behind him. Like there's,
he has I think he could do like you know who Ross Perot was?
Yeah,
he might be able to like get a following like Ross Perot that way, but I don't.
And
know.
I could see him. I think he'd make the debates if it's 15% I think.
It's easier to make the debates for the Republicans. Shit.
No, I meant if Trump ran independent.
I mean, that's the thing though, is he would divide. I mean, he would divide the GOP and basically hand them a giant loss. But...
Well, it'd all be like a giant ego trip on his part.
Right. I mean, because he doesn't, obviously care about the outcome, especially if people around him can convince him that he won either way.
Brendan, what were you gonna say?
I said I really think that it's not just an ego trip thing for him. Like initially, I kind of believe what Michael Cohen said, where he didn't think that he was going to win the like 2016. Like it was kind of just a publicity stunt. But then when he did 4 years of it, I think he really got his head blown up, where he thinks that he can be a great leader and that he does make good decisions, especially since he has this massive cult following like nothing I've ever seen in my lifetime, at least.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. He surrounds himself with people that make him think that he's right and good and never does anything wrong. And so if everybody tells him you're doing great, he's going to think he's doing great. Nobody's going to tell him no.
Yeah, but what happened was, I think Hudak was trying to speak on it a little bit, that a lot of those people who did support him, they kind of lost support for him when he kept trying to do this whole, the election was stolen from me.
Kraken.
Like, because that was a bunch of crap. And then it was very hard for any reasonable person with two brain cells to rub together to like support that. Like,
I've seen reports that he's still talking about that stuff, like still talking about trying to get put back into office. I don't know if they're true or not, but it's been reported.
What, does he still do memos from Mar-a-Lago? I remember he was doing that. Like he's like, is he still doing that right now? I don't know.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me.
I haven't seen one lately.
Or maybe no one like really cares anymore.
Well, although there's definitely, like I see it on the right wing groups I'm in. There are definitely people who still love that man and will vote for anyone he will endorse. Like MAGA is still in this country, but I don't think it's going to be the ultimate driving force for the next presidential election. I don't know. Well, time will tell.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen over the next 2 years too. It's been a lot over the last 2 years.
It's a long ways off. Yeah.
I thought it would have lost a lot of his support when he came out as saying how much the vaccine was all because of him or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. People booed.
Yeah,
like one of his.
He got booed when he told everybody to get fucking vaccinated.
Which, I mean, what kind of bar is that when it's so low that even Trump's better than you?
It's kind of interesting how the cult's kind of taken on a life of its own. It's not just what Trump says anymore. It's like this weird frenzy he's whipped people up into.
Yeah.
It's a mixture because there's some people who are like quote unquote conservatives who support him, who kind of do. And there's those QAnon folk who like, were part of January 6th and stuff. So there's kind of a depth to his support. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Clarence Thomas's wife.
Probably the safest thing for the country at this point in time is to actually put Trump in the White House, but not the actual White House. we need to build a replica, and we need to just put him in the Oval and tell him that he, okay, we're honoring the election, sir, and you're back as president. But to keep you safe, you just have to stay in the Oval Office. But you have your Twitter access back.
No, God, no.
Give him a coloring book and let him go to town.
And everyone that he thinks is replying to him is going to be just a Twitter bot.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of do miss him from Twitter, though. I mean, I know he got inflammatory towards the end there during the January 6th stuff, but he was quite hilarious. Like, you know what I mean?
It was entertaining,
you could
for
see
sure.
how insane he was. You could point it out and be like, look at this guy.
No, there was an entertainment factor to it for sure. Seeing what crazy thing he said, it was just kind of scary that like this is the guy in charge of the nuclear codes.
That's how I felt the entire time.
I felt scared for the last 4 presidents.
I get you there, but
honestly,
I get you, but he just seemed especially unstable, like someone's like crazy uncle, but like president.
Yeah, felt.
To be honest, I have some crazy uncles, like on both sides, you know what I mean, that are like, and I have an uncle that's like Trump, and then I have an aunt that's like Joe Biden. You know what I mean? like they're little personas of like, they're not all there. You know what I mean? Not all there in their head, but they think they're doing right. And like, so like I see it, and like now, am I going to say that Biden is as inflammatory as Trump. Absolutely not. But like, both of them still scare me, though. Honestly.
No, I get you. I understand you there.
Although it is sort of nice to have a normal president again.
So
It's nice to have a normal news cycle. I wouldn't say nice to have a normal president, but it's nice to have someone who's not fucking focused on 24/7 in the news. Like, what crazy shit is Trump gonna say today? Like, I know that. Like, I do not like Biden. I want to put that out there. I do not like Biden. I like the news around Biden at least. Like, I'm not having to fucking hear about how he's about to say some crazy shit on Twitter. Swear to God.
No, I think Rachel would just call that more communism.
More
Any
communism.
criticism of Trump is just communism.
That's what the LPMC thinks. That's what they tell me all the time. I had someone comment on or tweet back to one of my like just non-tweets and just be like, I'm glad when the LP will be rid of your mental illness. And it's like,
oh yeah, I get those all the time.
I got that. This is the first time, and I was just like, okay, dude. And he's like, we're gonna beat you in Reno, and I'm like, okay, dude.
You guys have fun.
Yeah, I literally was like, you have no idea. And he was like, his last question was, how many genders are there? And I was like, well, definitely more than your brain cells, but you know.
Oh, that sounds like a low bar, though.
Yeah,
very low bar.
I think J.K. Rowling might have been able to answer that.
Archie, you shut up.
Well, if he only has one brain cell, right?
So this is not how I was expecting this episode to go. I will say I'm kind of bummed that the only critic who came on was going at Archie instead of me. Like I was ready for it.
To be honest, I might get dogpiled on. I don't really think that guy came in here in bad faith. I think he kind of seemed a bit awkward, and I don't think
It's possible. It's possible that it was like an just not used to speaking kind of thing, but I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could see a person
Did you
acting
see
like
the
that.
comments? He said that he's not exactly very good at public speaking, and then
I did, but then I don't know if that's being. I saw that tweet or comment on YouTube, but I don't know if that was. It's very hard to tell like sarcasm through comments.
I don't know.
I don't know if he was bullshitting in the second sentence.
I didn't see. You guys were saying that he was talking in bad faith. I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
It's also well within their wheelhouse and their playbook too to behave lightweight. So
yeah,
it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's tough to say for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say so. Because the whole being a member question kind of seemed like a dodge to me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That I didn't hear that part. I think I might have been off when.
Yeah, it was like I think one of us asked if he's a Mises Caucus member, maybe Archie, and he was kind of like dodging the question. He's like, "Well, I don't like what's membership," kind of thing like that.
Well, to be honest, with the Mises Caucus,
no, I know
that is actually he does make a very point there. I mean, I was a part of the Mises Caucus. Why? Because I was in the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
from when I was there, I think it was like basically if you considered yourself a member and you like hadn't been kicked out and you were in the group, you were a member.
Yeah, it was the group, and then it was if you donate, and then it's we're a decentralized something.
Well, yeah,
something.
it
Everybody and
switches
nobody's
around.
a member. It switches around depending on who is saying stupid stuff at the time.
Well, they do
who's asking
to pay too, like members who make donations and stuff.
Yeah,
so I guess
there's a thing
I have
now.
to pay every month to be a part. Is that how it works? I don't know.
I doubt it because I
Well,
doubt like
'cause
every
other-
organizer even donates per month. I doubt like maybe like a lot of them do or most of them do, but I doubt it's 100%. Who knows?
Because it all just goes to the federal PAC. Not that those numbers can be.
Yeah, didn't even get anyone yelling at me this time. I'll have to find somebody to bring on.
You gotta find a way to bring them out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just on Carlin Borisenko's show the other day. I figured I'd be able to draw some in. Oh, we lost Brendan. Okay, so I see Hilditch is in the chat saying he's going to call it a night. Doesn't look like we're going to get any other Mises people in here, which is a bummer.
Yeah,
But,
I think we had 20 minutes. Cat update. I will provide you with a cat update.
I mean, do you want to run it to 8, or do you just want to call it early?
Call it early.
Well, I know you do.
Yeah, I say we can call it. I say we call it a night.
Okay, so let's set something up.
Oh wait, we just got a question.
Back to the main topic. I do have a serious question for everyone else that I personally have trouble answering. Is there potential for reconciliation between Mises and non-Mises libertarians? Because the more populist and divisive they go, the less willing I become to even consider libertarianism as a possible governing philosophy. I think Archie's probably going to want to touch this, but I want to say something first, because I know Archie kind of talks about some stuff like this. If you don't, Archie, let me know. But can we pop the question back up just while I answer?
Oh, yeah.
To make sure I hit everything. So I think it depends on the member. I do think there are people that join and they kind of don't really know all the issues. And there's from being part of it for a while at one point, there's a very big kind of groupthink cult thing where it's like, it's kind of just accepted in the group that the criticism is false. And everyone just kind of takes that at face value without really looking into it. So I do think there are people in there, maybe with some rank and file members, that are just naive. Like, I don't think everyone who's in the Mises Caucus is like alt-right or something like that. Like, some good people end up there, and then eventually a lot of them end up leaving eventually. I've seen that a lot. It's kind of interesting on a side note how so many former Mises members and even people who were higher up in Mises leadership, Archie included, end up becoming their critics. But that's a different story. But for someone like I don't know, Heiss or something, or the major figures, no, I don't think there's a potential for reconciliation. I mean, they came in here swinging from the beginning. It's always been a takeover war thing. It's never, as much as they'd like to say like it's about working with people, and it never was. It was always about trying to take over. But that's my stance on this. Archie, you got anything?
Yeah, you're calling it right with the Archie wants to comment on this question.
I knew right there. I was like, this is his wheelhouse. I'm gonna let him out of the floor.
I'm going to start with a phrase that I've found needs to be said more often, especially because of the whole just out recruit them thing. Truth is not democratic. If you have 5 people and 4 of them vote that pi is 3.12, it doesn't make pi 3.12. It's still 3.14, 15, etc. If you have 5 people and 4 of them vote that 2 plus 2 equals 3, it doesn't make 2 plus 2 equals 3. And so here's the thing. They want to out-recruit us and take over the party, and that will take over the party, but it will never change the philosophy. And as to whether or not there can be reconciliation, I'll say this. The national leadership is gone. They're not coming back to libertarianism, if they ever even were with it.
Yeah.
They opened the door to people like Ryan Dawson, who uses Zyklon B to thumbnail his videos. They opened the door to people like Nick Fuentes, Christopher Cantwell, Owen Benjamin, Gavin McGinnis, all of the most worst toxic scum in politics today. And they opened this door willingly, and there's no coming back from that. The people that there can be reconciliation with are the rank and file, the people that have their noses to the grindstone in their own states and don't realize what National Mises Caucus leadership is doing. Those people who do actually espouse the NAP and non-aggression and actual libertarian principles of equal rights for everyone. Whether or not they fully understand the philosophy, I don't care, as long as they're willing to learn the philosophy as they go. Those are the people we can reach. Those are the people we should reach. Those are the people there can be a reconciliation with. But the people that are willing to not only commit fraud, but embrace fraud as though it is their lover, as though it is their married spouse for decades. Those are the people there can be no reconciliation with.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like to
think that's
speak on
fair.
this subject if that would be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
Well,
another former Mises member, so.
So I came into the party actually through the Mises Caucus. I used to be. I've always been an anarchist. I've been an anarchist since I was about 16 years old. I got radicalized at a punk show. I was really a leftist anarchist, but a lot of things happened, and there was some people when the Mises Caucus was first started out. There was a gentleman who was their original vice chair. His name was Luke Enzor. Luke is a good man. I will defend him to the death, even though he's still a part of the Mises Caucus. I still believe he's a good person. And he brought me into the Libertarian Party. I would not be here talking to any of you if it wasn't technically for him and the Mises Caucus. That being said, I think a lot of things changed when they really brought the podcasters on board. Yep. And Hudak knows exactly what I'm talking about. I call it the great because what happened was when Dave Smith and Scott Horton. I love Scott Horton, by the way. I had some problems with him, but when Scott Horton and Dave Smith and all those guys started inviting people into the group, it became more of a culture warrior thing. 100%. And then it became very abrasive with how well they could get along with the rest of the party. Because I saw it at my first convention, my first state convention, where I was there as a member of the Mises Caucus. And when we were talking to people, it was relatively on good terms for the most part. We were even talking to, I believe his name is Johnny Robinson. He's a LibSoc from the Caucus. And we had, me and Jacob Winograd actually had very polite conversations with him. Things were different then. But now we're at this point where they are really caught up on this culture warrior stuff, where it's going to put this wedge between them and the regular voting population of the LP and not much the voting population, but the actual people who are involved in party politics. Mm-hmm. So it's two different things. There's people who vote libertarian, and then there's people who are involved in this soap opera drama bullshit, which I'm still trying to figure out what's involved in it. Honestly,
no, I get you.
For God's sakes, my roommate, he heard me talking in this discussion, and I'm going to have to explain. How am I going to explain this to him? How am I going to explain this to him? It's like, what were you guys talking about? And it's like, well, you see, there's this other third party, and there's constant infighting where it can't get anywhere. And that infighting has gone up to this point where now it's Mises Caucus or nobody. And I don't feel like it was like that at first, but now it's gotten to that point, especially with Dave Smith and his followers. It's it's our way or the highway.
No, it ramped up for sure, 100%.
And I have issues with that. And it's going to make it very hard to move forward. And there's still some people in the Mises Caucus I get along with that I talk to, you know what I mean? But they can see the same thing. You know what I mean? That it's going to be hard. I don't think it will ever reconcile, honestly.
No.
That's why I've gone to agorism. I guess I'm still going to help support my state party, but to be honest, I've really stopped caring.
Yeah, I get that. It gets to the point where it's just okay, you guys want this much, okay, go have fun.
Because you know what, Hilditch was talking earlier about winning elections, and it's God damn it, in fucking America, most people can't even agree on what a libertarian is, let alone want to vote for them. You know what I mean? We're in a two-party system, which is, from my understanding, uncommon amongst democratic institutions in the world. And most people they're going to go blue or red. to go out and be able to talk, you have to go out and be able to even tell them there's this other option. There's this yellow option. And most people aren't doing that. Instead, they're doing this infighting that is plaguing the party. And now I'm not like saying that that's like not exactly a noble cause, but at the same time, it's distracting us from the goals of actually being able to win elections and being able to make any change politically. I mean,
No, it's a dumpster fire no matter how you look at it.
it is a dumpster fire, man. It really is. It like to be honest, like I don't even like telling people I'm a libertarian. I don't.
No, same.
I don't.
I feel like it's gotten.
Same.
I feel like it's gotten worse, like over the past 2 years. Like you said, with the rise of the podcasters and the rise of the Mises Caucus.
It was. I call it the Great Wave, dude, because you were there, and Archie, I think, was there too when
Archie was a state organizer for a while.
They invited those people in. Holy fucking shit! It just changed the whole group. Like it changed everything.
I was a moderator for the Mises Caucus Facebook group at the time, and I just remember like so many, like I don't know if you want to call them right wing populists, maybe just kind of they just came flooding in, like it was a very quantity not quality situation in terms of the new members coming in, and I think a lot of I've noticed a lot of people ended up kind of leaving around that point because it was like this is getting bad. Like there was always some of that. For sure, but it wasn't to this level.
After you left, I was like, look, I'm going to stick around here because I feel like I could be like a voice of reason.
That's why I was there so long.
To this day, who I still get along with politely, but honestly, I just felt myself constantly fighting with people. I remember Archie, when Archie was active in the group too, that he would that's why I liked Archie. I would see him pop up and he would be like that dissenting voice. And more of those dissenting voices just became less, not so much powerful, but they just got dogpiled on. Like if you disagreed with the general population there, you were an enemy.
Oh yeah, like a lot of what I was doing there at the time when I was there was doing the dissenting voice kind of thing too. Like I used to make all these like open borders posts and stuff like that, and if someone showed up like pulling any kind of like weird white nationalism stuff, I'd be the first one on top of that. Like I'd be telling the other moderators like we got to get rid of them, and that's actually pretty much why I ended up leaving. Because I mean I stepped down as a mod like maybe 4 months before I left because I kind of saw the way things were going, but I stayed around to try to influence things. And then it was that Jesse Miller dude who was going off about all the weird Europe is for European shit. And it was so obvious that he was like, it was so obvious that he was one of those alt-right dudes, and Heights just refused to see it. He's like, no, he has a different cultural preference.
I have conversations with him online where, like, he has me blocked right now. He hates me. Like, he literally does. Like, he even came on my meme page, and for some reason I could see him on the meme page, and then he blocked the meme page, I think, too.
Dude, actually, I'll just interject this, if I may, real quick. John was my canary for realizing that there was a whole lot of trouble in the Mises Caucus, because when he got kicked out, I said something like he should be let back in, and Heiss asked, why would we do that? Because he was right, I said.
Yeah, the context there. So I had that big blow up with Heiss over the Jesse Miller guy, and that's why I ended up leaving, because he was like, it was a guy who was saying Europe is for Europeans, and he was saying that he wants to ban all immigration to the United States. And I'm like, how do you not see this right in front of you? And I left the caucus. I posted about it from Fakertarians. I remember it got some play on like some state party pages, like South Carolina or something like that. And Heiss was just consistently doubling down on defending this guy. Even Josh was like in my messages, like, yeah, I think we should kick this guy too. Like, I don't know what Heiss is doing.
Yeah,
but
Josh told me the similar things as well. So did other Mises Caucus people, like state organizers for the Mises Caucus were telling me, you know what? I think you're right about this guy and some other guys. Like they seem like ethno-nationalists.
Yeah, it wasn't just Miller. Like Miller was very indicative of the problem, but there were other people around too.
Oh and yeah, then, I could name a few. Right off my like I could name they're all Hoppians.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
They're all
It's the hoppy and shit.
And
like,
then,
okay, like for example, my father is he used to be, he's kind of like a radical liberal or like a liberal. Okay, so someone like him now. Open borders, even to somebody like him, open borders might still be an extreme concept. You know what I mean? The idea of actually having it happen that way. But there are some qualms you can have with open borders. But when you make it this ethno-nationalist stance, and this idea that they're going to come in and make everything socialist, or they're going to come in and take our jobs or some bullshit, then your argument's invalid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, then, like, because there are some, like, regular people on the street. Like, if you go up to a regular person on the street right now and walk up to them, and you just like, how do you feel about open borders?
Yeah.
Some of them might be like, I don't know, like, that might be kind of crazy or something. But it's a different thing when they make it this ethno-nationalist standpoint, where no, this is America for Americans, or this is Europe for Europeans, and I'm like, what?
But like I was saying on Miller, so what Archie was referring to, Heist like doubled it. So Heist was arguing with me about it in the group. He started arguing with me about it on the Fakertarians post. He was doubling down, tripling down, everything. A few days later, we dug up some other comments from Jesse Miller, and it was straight up. He was in Dave Smith's private group going off about like the Jewish question and stuff like that. And then they finally kicked him, but it was like you really needed to see, like, you knew exactly what this guy was about. It was obvious. He was in there for months, and they needed to see
because I didn't exactly have screenshots. I wasn't taking screenshots of him, but I had conversations with him and a few other Hoppians where I was like telling other Mises Caucus people, like, look, I know I'm like coming from the left here, and you guys know I'm like crazy open borders. But these guys are like ethno-nationalists. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are all some.
Another quote I just remembered from him was he was talking about how libertarians need to do more about race as it relates to, I think the quote was, as it relates to like social cohesion, criminality, and IQ. And it was like that should be like setting off some alarm bells for you right there if he says that. Like,
right.
I asked him some follow-ups and he kind of just like dodged it because that's what those types do. They don't want to say the quiet part out loud, basically.
Well, Thaw Bishop talked about similar things too, and he's well respected. Well, I guess he's doing the Republican thing now.
Yeah, but he's still in those circles, kind of, though.
Oh yeah, don't even get me started about Thaw. How do you pronounce that name?
I say Tho.
Toe.
Like, I would like to. I'll give him that much respect that I want to pronounce his name right.
Yeah.
He made fun of somebody's name. He made fun of somebody's name once, and basically it said, "Oh, I can't take you seriously. Your name is."
You can say it.
Your name is Vinny, and it's like, your name. Do you know what's on your driver's license? So, I am perfectly okay with Toe.
So speaking of this guy, his Twitter profile has a hashtag Tilden or blood.
Oh yeah. That was weird. I looked up the history about that. It was some kind of post-Confederate thing.
Tilden or blood.
Never heard of this.
That's totally a Confederate.
Groper, wait, he's a groper though. Like, who that? You remember when he was talking about? Oh yeah, we should. The Mises Institute.
The Red Pill Reader.
Bring the gropers on board.
Red Pill Reader to appeal to the gropers.
He was posting about that in a private group. I was actually the one who leaked that to Leading Liberty. Fun fact, while I was still in the Mises Caucus, and I just didn't want to tell anybody. But so he was saying that the Mises Institute should have a thing called the Red Pill Reader that would have like Rothbard's
Rothbard.
Yeah, the late Rothbard stuff.
Late Rothbard.
It would have Hoppa's like immigration stuff, and it would be like very keyed towards. It wouldn't even be keyed towards trying to get them to change their mind on immigration or trying to get them to change their mind on whatever. It more seemed like this is how we get gripers to call themselves libertarians.
No. What I think he really wanted was he wanted gropers to understand that they were Hoppians.
No, that's a good way to put it.
It's like we're gonna make a reader with a bunch of Hoppa and late Rothbard, like,
Yeah, really.
That's what we
appealed to
don't
the
need
edge.
more of.
gets me mad.
Right. Seriously, what
Future of the Mises Institute too. Well, like a lot of you Fakertarians guys, you guys get like I hate Gary North. You like and other people like that, but like those old podgers, they're gonna die. Like Lou Rockwell, he's on an oxygen machine.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard he's not
he's
doing
been
so
on an
good.
oxygen machine for several years. These guys are gonna die, and then in 5 years from now, the leadership is going to be people like Thaw. Like that's who we have to be more concerned about what I believe is
That's
them,
true.
because they're bringing it on to another different level of bullshit.
No, you're absolutely right there.
How long until Tho is giving a speech at AFPAC?
He already has given speeches for the Mises Institute. He's an ambassador, or I believe it's like officially a part of like the Mises Institute.
You did
Yeah,
not
he's
get that
like
reference?
the assistant. I think he's like the assistant editor for Mises. For the
Yeah,
Mises
he
Institute.
does editing and he also has his own little thing. I can't remember what it's called.
And ironically, he started some site where he was reviving like the Rothbard Rockwell report, which was like a paleo strategy thing. That's the newsletter that had the Lou Rockwell Mighty Ducks article in it. And it had the right wing populism Rothbard thing. They finally got David Duke and the Unleash the Cops thing. That was all in there.
Yeah, because he wanted those in the red pill reader. Like he was specific. He's like, we're gonna add all those edgy parts that people did not like about Rothbard. Oh no, we're gonna make a reader. We're gonna send it to these people. And gropers, I don't know if I was on 4chan for a bit. I would lurk there, here and there, and gropers are the worst. Like they are like the only people who I would consider worse than them are like the Adam Waffen people, like the people who actually do physically bad things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right there. I do notice a lot of overlap now between the Fuentes crowd and the Hobbians. There's definitely a core value issue there where they kind of join together.
Well, how many of those frog avatars have been modified to look like Hoppa?
Oh yeah,
I mean that's like
Chase Rachel's used to do that.
They have a full Fash wave with him. If you look up like Hoppa wave, they have videos and shit.
No,
it's like we're gonna put synthwave music behind Hoppa speaking, and we're gonna make it epic.
Hoppian.org is one of the sites that does that. And I remember once Josh Smith started his podcast, he endorsed that site, and I dug up some stuff on it, and it was not great. There was actually I'm looking at it right now. There was an article on that site called "The Alt-Right: a Libertarian Reappraisal," and it was talking about like how, what do we got here? The libertarian disgust for the alt-right is an idiotic and childish reaction to the infantile rejection of social norms or biological reality of hierarchy, racial preference, and an attempt to be accepted by the status quo and the leftists. And the article was like talking about how racial minorities have a low IQ and that the Cato Institute is promoting immigration and homosexuality. Like it's just
I want to
straight
read
up
that
groper
article, even though I know it'll just give me a headache.
I'll send it to you later.
Send it to me. Jesus. Oh, man. I remember hearing that thing when he was teaching at he was teaching at he was teaching at a university in
UNLV.
UNLV. Yeah, and he talked about lower time preferences with minorities, and that raised like a controversy. And you would think
it was lower time preferences with gay people because they don't care because they're not going to have descendants, so they don't care about the future or something like that. And like as if you don't even you can still care about the future if you don't have kids, but gay people can adopt too. Like it's not, and they can have like nieces and nephews they care about. Like it's just the whole thought is just warped. It's not actually based in anything. It's just like basically the equivalent of the anti-gay equivalent of scientific racism.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like he tried to. You know what the thing is? You know what the funniest thing is? Is that Hoppe used to be a Marxist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so like pretty much what he did was he sort of got this same framework from Marxism, but then he's like, actually, it's this minority population that's going to take control through the state. That and that was his argument. And
it's funny how they say that like minorities have a victim.
I've read books by him. I've read Democracy.
I read Democracy.
I think I've read about 3 or 4 books from him. I'll admit, his private production on self-defense, that's the only good thing I could say I've ever read by him.
No, that's fair.
Everything else is just especially Democracy, the God That Failed. My God,
that was something. And then I've read some of his speeches and his articles and stuff like that. I remember in that speech he gave about the alt-right, he said that it's ironic because I know like some of these anti-SJW Mises people or whatever say that like minorities have a victim complex, but Hoppe said that I think the exact quote was that the most victimized population is white married couples with children. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, he said that a couple times. I remember hearing a couple speeches where he was pretty much just pandering. It wasn't even pandering. I actually do believe that he's like on that alt-right level where he's like, our way of life is under attack.
The dude invited Jared Taylor to his conference to speak about race relations. Like,
well, yeah, of course, it's easy to have conferences like that when you're having them over in Turkey. You can talk over about white supremacy when you're over, in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah. It's not like he was bringing in like 2 people to debate it on different sides or something. Like it's not like he brought in like 2 people on different opposite sides of the spectrum that are both like kind of insane. It was just Jared Taylor going up there talking about how actually the slaves like slavery, and if we don't have enough white people, then America is going to become a third world country. That was actually part of his speech. I listened to it.
Yeah, and then there was people like there was a bunch of white supremacists who were there. I believe it was the SPLC, I believe, who had people there who were like, yeah, not only are there white supremacists speaking here, most of the population at this conference is white supremacist neo-Nazi folk. I'm like, you don't say, really? It's like, and when I came a part of the Mises Caucus, like I had read Mises and Rothbard, like while I was a part of them, but it was only later that I actually started to read Hoppe, because all these people in the group were always talking about Hoppe like he's some god, and talk about this Democracy, the God That Failed. So I read the whole book, and I was like, damn, this is your man. Holy.
It's funny because I was like a Mises Caucus moderator, like looked up to a little bit in the group and shit, and I was able to push back on Hoppe. Like I wrote an article for Being Libertarian at one point that was just attacking one of Hoppe's speeches, and like I don't think that kind of thing now, if let's say like some moderator in their Facebook group made basically an attack article on him, they would be run out of that caucus so damn quick.
Well, do you know who I think has actually illuminated more towards Hoppe than Dave Smith is Michael Malice, because Michael Malice has had him on his show like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
And he's always praised him in good light. And at the same time, I actually read Malice's book on anarchism, and I actually thought it was a decent overview of like
from when I read it, from what I heard, it sounded decent.
On anarchism thought, but then I keep in the back of my mind, this dude really likes Hoppe though. Like, you know what I mean?
He really likes he really likes Moldbug too,
and Lysander Spooner and other philosophers, but really he thinks Hoppe is the be all end all. Like he's the peak of this thought. And I'm like, that is just so farcical. It gives me a headache about it.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing into the neo-reactionary kind of area. A lot of that crowd too is big into Curtis Yarvin, the guy who goes by like Mencius Moldbug or whatever his name is. There's a whole. That's where that whole cathedral term comes from.
Oh,
That
yeah,
guy's
I know.
a whole.
I read him too. I like it. Like I think I kind of differentiate myself from, and you might know this, Hudak, that if I hear about one of these guys, I'll read them. I'll give them. I don't want to say the benefit of the doubt, but I want to have an idea of the thought. And Goldbug, oh man, he actually gives me more of a headache than Papa. At least with Papa, I can. There are some points where I can agree with Papa. With Goldbug, there is nothing I could agree on. He just thinks that everything is a culture war, and that's a be all end all of society.
I think he has a quote something like, "I don't call myself a white nationalist, but I'm not exactly allergic to the stuff."
Yes,
it shines through for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, from who?
From
Papa saying that, or
Curtis Yarvin is what his real name
oh,
is.
Yarvin.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on his blog. He has like a very extensive blog that he's worked on for years, and I believe that's where that's quoted from. I may be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I know Peter Quinones always has him on all the time.
God, I'm so. You know what? I'm kind of glad that he's at, like, even some of the Mises folk have actually just completely just gave him the middle finger.
Well,
Like,
I mean, you could see where he was going. It was just a full edgelord thing coming, like full speed ahead. The train.
I'm not gonna lie. Back like 2 years ago, I listened to his podcast. Like, he said I agreed with him on, but then he just became this edgelord, and then I saw how he was on Twitter. See, there was a difference between how he was on his podcast, between how he would be on social media.
100% true.
Yeah, and then also when he's attacked me several times on social media. I'm still waiting for him to hear back because he threatened you guys, and then I made like open letter.
Oh, I remember that.
I will fight you. Like, if you want to fight somebody, I will fight you. I have a sponsor. I still have a sponsor that he lives in Georgia. Like, we can meet halfway. Like, I will fight Peter for that. Like,
well, it reminds me he was threatening someone, I forget who, saying like you should like stare at the ground if you see me or something. And then
I remember that. Yeah, who was he? Wait, what's that? I thought that was Archie.
No, it was Bates.
Oh yeah. And then he switched to like threatening to have like Eric July beat people up instead. Like it kind of like switched over.
After him, I see. He's gonna like send some token guy after him. That's bullshit. When did he do that?
I don't remember. It was like maybe a year and a half ago or something like that.
I'm fighting Eric July. I want to fight Petey. What is he, like 5'4" or something?
He is
like
pretty short. I remember. I know I've seen pictures of him with Tom Woods.
Yeah, because he's not 5'4", but he is a short fellow. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure and I've also talked to, you know what the funniest thing is? I talked to some Mises Caucus people I get along, and they're like, yeah, I don't really like Petey. And then whenever I see him in person at a convention, he's very quiet. Like,
really?
That he just like he is not the same person. Like, he literally is a keyboard. Like, he will act different if he's behind the screen than in person. Like, so, like, I bet if I saw Peter right now and I would confront him, he would probably just scram off. You know what I mean? Even if I just tried to bait him or anything, like that's what I've heard is that's how he is. Like, he literally is a scaredy cat.
I think it'd be funny to try. He never would, but I think it'd be funny to try to bring him on here.
Well, I mean, there's other Mises Caucus people I could bring on here in good faith, who like good, like quote unquote good Mises Caucus people. You know what I mean? Who would come on here and discuss things. Like, I don't know if they want to be dogpiled by 8 dudes though.
No, I get that.
Yeah, like, but I could possibly do that in the future.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. I'm thinking we should probably wrap this up because we're going over the 2-hour mark now. But
Yeah.
It's been a fun discussion, though. Not what I expected to happen, but it was interesting discussion about Mises and Hoppa and all that.
You gotta share it around in a different way to get people. You gotta have a topic.
Yeah.
What you should do is you should have a topic like today we're talking about this culture warrior issue or some bullshit, and that will attract people to want to come here.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I like that.
Get it?
Look at the guy. He's got a backlog of fights to go through.
Yeah, he kind of does. But I made an open letter. I
remember that
when I tagged him, and I even told. And so there was a certain individual, I won't name him, who took a picture of him at a convention, and I said, "You tell PD right now, and you show him that post. Like I'm down whenever he's down." And he said, "Yeah, he kind of just told me to fuck off." and I'm like, no, dude, we're gonna talk about this. All right, but you guys have a good one. All right, y'all.
Yeah, you too, man. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay, so thanks to everybody for watching. Next episode probably 2 weeks from now on a Saturday, and we'll actually have a guest. So tune in, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Bye.